Hi there. The Philippine War against drugs and criminality is clearly on its peak right now. Reports coming in that we are now getting 11 killings per day since the time that President Rodrigo Duterte was formally sworn into office. Philippine Star Cecil Felipe has written on it on July 25th that it's now up to 11 killings per day. Her report has even tallied the actual numbers from the PNP. We now have 239 drug suspects being slain in police operations as of July 22nd, 120,038 drug pushers and users have surrendered to the authorities. And what's extremely surprising is that on July 20th, the PNP's data recorded 207 killings. By the 22nd, it has risen to 239 deaths. That's an additional 32 deaths in a matter of what? 2 days? So, all these things would raise the long while question. Does the ends justify the means? However, before we can really answer that question, we must first ask ourselves, to what ends are we talking about here? What are the generally accepted ends that are being assumed here? I don't even want to go down to the morality of all these things because morals, as we all know, are very subjective. One's morals could be against that of another. So that has long been established, so let's not go there. But how does the police get away with all these killings? In cases of warrantless arrests or arrest without warrants, um, these scenarios, there are four scenarios. These scenarios should involve any of the following. Number one, when in the presence of the apprehending officer, the person to be arrested has committed, is actually committing, or is attempting to commit an offense. Two, when an offense has just been committed and the apprehending officer has probable cause to believe, based on personal knowledge and of facts or circumstances, that the person to be arrested has committed it. Third, when the person to be arrested is a prisoner or has escaped from a penal establishment or place where he is serving final judgment or is temporarily confined while his case is pending or has escaped while being transferred from one confinement to another. And last would be in cases of hot pursuit. However, also worth noting is that we have the PNP's guidebook on human rights based policing. And according to that guidebook, lethal force should not be used except when strictly unavoidable in order to protect your life or the offending officer's life and the lives of another. So, therefore, warrantless or even with warrant, lethal force should always be the last resort. If not, it shouldn't be used at all. But then again, there's this clause, except in strictly unavoidable, in order to protect the life of the arresting officer and that of another. So that clause there, although established or written in good faith, is without a doubt ambiguous and undetermined, not to mention highly open to abuse and exploitation. Further, the Constitution clearly states that the accused, albeit, has committed transgressions and has acted in iniquity. However, they still have constitutionally established rights. Some of these rights, as enshrined in our Constitution, emphasis provided, are the following: the right to free access to the courts and adequate legal assistance, the right against torture, force, violence, threat, intimidation, or any other means which vitiates the free will, the right to bail and against excessive bail, and there's also this right to due process of law, the right to presumption of innocence, the right to be heard by himself and of counsel, the right to have speedy, impartial, and public trial, the right against cruel, degrading, or inhuman punishment. So what happens to these rights now? How are they, the dead, being afforded these very basic and constitutional rights, if their very right to liberty, not to mention life, are being denied to them? With all that is being said here, allow me to declare outright that I do not condone, not even in the slightest, the very act of any forms of violation of the law, or the mere usage or abuse of prohibited drugs. All I'm saying is that what happens to these rights that was afforded to the alleged criminals, drug peddlers, or even drug users? Now, what if they were falsely accused, or that the facts leading to their arrest or apprehension is flawed or misguided, or if there is a break, even remotely, in the intelligence gathering of the PNP or those in authority? What if they were falsely accused? How would we reconcile this now, when the accused are already dead? Now, call me your devil's advocate or whatnot. Just what if? And while you're at it, let me throw back the question. Does the ends justify the means?